promising learners. Welcome to the official YouTube channel of SRN International School. I'm Pallavi Tandon, Faculty of English at SRN International School, Jagatpura, Jaipur. Today we will be learning about literary device, which are techniques that writers use to express their ideas and enhance their writing. It serves a wide range of purpose in literature. Now, what are poetic device or literary device? Poetic device are a form of literary device used in poetry. A poem is created out of poetic devices composed of structural, grammatical, rhythmic, metrical, verbal, and visual elements. They are essentially tools that a poet uses to create rhythm, enhance a poem's meaning, or intensify a mood or feeling. The use of figurative language as a poetic device functions to convey the poet's intended meaning in various ways. Poetic devices that have a sonic quality achieve specific effects when heard. Words with a sound-like quality can strike readers as soothing or dissonant while evoking certain thoughts and feelings associated with it. Now let us know about rhyme. You can use rhyme to refer to the sound of language and even the beauty or joy of it. Take the phrase rhyme and reason. For example, the strictest definition is when the last stressed syllables and any following syllables sound the same between two or more words, along with meter, loosely meaning the way the poem acts in time. Rhyme is one of the most important poetic devices. Like we have examples like cat and hat, egg and beg, ink and pink. It's like that. Rich rhyme, in this case, the words are pronounced the same but have different meanings, like homonyms. Examples like raise and raise, rake and break, vary and vary, lesson and lesson. Next we have alliteration. A string of 3 or 4 instances of the same consonant sounds with no more than one intervening non-alliterative onset consonant sound. Alliteration is used as mnemonic device to evoke feelings such as fear and suspense in poetry. Alliteration is the phonetic alignment and repeated use of a sound or letter in the first syllable of a word. Alliteration can be used for any combination of two words or more. As a poetic tool, alliteration is one of the oldest, most widely used and effective means of enhancing your poetry. Let me give you an example, cooling covert, where C is repeated, or I slip, I slide, I gloom, I glance. Next, we have assonance. It's the repeated vowel sound in words placed near each other. These vowel sounds are usually accented or stressed to give musical quality to the poem. By creating an internal rhyme, this also enhances the pleasure of reading the poem. Similar to alliteration, assonance uses the repetition of a sound. The difference is that assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds. This can be a really fun alternative to rhyme. An example would be frogs, ribbit, kiss, fish in the distance. In this case, the I sound was repeated in several words. And another example like that black flag, or short and sweet yet super effective. Or you can say all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and entrance. Now we have imagery. The creation of any sensory effect like visual, auditory, olfactory, gustatory, tactile, kinesthetic. Actually, it all creates scenes in the poem. Not simply a visual representation in poetry, it sustains or comprises figure of speech, such as my heart opens like cactus flower, grandeur of dooms. So these are the examples of imagery. Now we have simile. A simile is a statement that one thing is like another. Usually two things will be related or at least comparable in a literal way. The choice of whether to explain that link is up to the poet. Similes are among the most common poetic devices. They are literally everywhere. Example, her face ashen like that of a corpse. So like is used. or soldiers are as brave as lions. So here as is used to depict simile. Now we have metaphor. It is here to explain and elucidate emotions in the poetry. Poet uses metaphor as a way of explaining or referring to something in a brief but effective way. Metaphors are a figurative means of comparing something to another unrelated entity in order to contrive the full meaning or impact of that something. A metaphor puts an object or concept in more clear perspective, provides imagery, and creates an analogy to give deeper understanding to a thing, a story, a message, or a concept. Like merry children spilling out of their homes, or you can say rat's eye, or paper seeming boy. So these are some of the examples of metaphor. One major difference between a simile and a metaphor is that in a simile, we describe two things as similar to each other, whereas in a metaphor, two things are presented exactly as one. For example, his anger burnt like an insatiable fire. Since both metaphor and simile are bifurcations of imagery, there is a thin line between both. However, generally, we can spot a simile in a sentence if words like, or as, similar to, etc. are used to highlight similarity. Now we have pun. A pun makes use of words that have more than one meaning or words that sound similar but have different meanings to humorous effect. The tallest building in town is the library. It has the thousands of stories. Or I can say, I'm mender of bad souls. Or still ringed with ordeals she was mastered by. So ringed is a pun which is used over here. It is used in poetry to create oral effects that mimic the visual image described. A combination of words may be used to create an onomatopoetic effect. It is, however, not imperative to use words that are onomatopoetic in and of themselves. Onomatopoeia is language that sounds like what it literally means or sounds like something related to that thing. Many words that stand in or sounds are onomatopoetic. For example, in Samuel Taylor Coleridge's great writing, that is Rime of Ancient Mariner, Coleridge uses the phrase furrow followed free to mimic the sound of the wake left behind a ship. Some more examples, like in the poem The Frog and the Nightingale, like once upon a time a frog croaked away in Bingle Bog. So here the poet used the word croaked, which is a sound made by the frog. Or you can take the example from the poem The Brook by Tennyson. I chatter over snowy ways in little sharps and trebles. Now, next is oxymoron. It is when apparently contradictory terms appear in conjunction. Here, the words are not opposite to each other like it is antithesis, but their meaning is opposite. One of the most commonly used poetic devices is irony. An ironical statement introduces a sarcastic effect. In other words, we can detect irony when we write something that is contradictory to what is expected. For example, a fire station burns down. Let me tell you some example of oxymoron. Like in the poem Romeo and Juliet, it says, "Oh heavy lightness, serious vanity." Here, both heavy and lightness are written together. Though they are opposite of each other. Heavy means which has more weight and light means which has less weight. There is another example like I observed deafening silence there. Okay, so let's move to the next poetic device, that is personification. Attributing human characteristics to an inanimate object, animal, or abstract ideas. Key mechanics of personification are typically description or action. For action, you would have a non-human perform a specifically human thing such as crying. For description, you would give human attributes to the non-human. For example, the days crept by slowly, sorrowfully. So a day is having the quality of a human being, that is sorrowfully. or earth loved green into the air. Or there's another example like trees in sprinting. The sun stretched its golden arms and greeted everyone with its kind smile. Or you can say the trees were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Or you can quote like, I make a netted sunbeam dance. So everywhere in the natural object, we have added the attributes or the traits of human being over here. Next, we have transferred epithet. It is an adjective used with noun, refers to another noun. It is to combine an incongruous adjective with an incongruous noun by transferring human characteristics onto non-human objects. By transferred epithet, it means to see attributive quality designated by an adjective transferred onto a noun which is essentially different in nature, as in weary road or tired pages. Following ones make a fine case for transferred epithets in the poem, like all the world's a stage, or you can say shining morning face for jolly chirpy childhood, or bubble reputation for ephemeral nature of fame in the world. Next, we have symbolism. Symbolism in poetry is used as an object or action that suggests something beyond its literal meaning. Symbolism means to imbue objects with a certain meaning that is different from their original meaning or function. It's a representative of other aspects, concepts, or traits than those visible in literal translation. Other literary devices such as metaphor, allegory, and allusion aid in the development of symbolism. Let me give you an example like count to 12. This is a good example of symbolism. Now we have repetition. Repetition often uses word associations to express ideas and emotions in an indirect manner, putting emphasis on a point, confirming an idea, or describing a notion. Repetition can be used for full verses, single lines, or even just a single word or sound. The ultimate goal is to make something stick better. If there's a main point you're conveying or a message you want to resonate, try adding some form of repetition to see if you can make it stand out more. Repetition is a good aid to help others understand the theme of your poem as well, especially in instances where other tools and imagery can actually hide the story behind your words. For example, all she did was smile, smile, and smile from my mother at 66. Or you can say the beautiful line like rain, rain, go away. All for one and one for all. Or there's another example like I chatter, chatter as I flow. So these are some of the beautiful examples of repetition which a poet uses in the poetry. I hope students, you must have understood the topic literary devices. If you have found this video helpful, then please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.